Hey guys, so here's another one of those impromptu updates that you love so much. I actually have two quick things to update. First of all, thanks so much for all of the feedback that you guys are giving on not only the Gaming with the Geeks videos, because we now have all of Devil May Cry 3 up, and we're now starting to release Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is Alex's Let's Play, but also with a special guest. My wife Andrea joins us, which is the usual crew of Draken Shadow, but I thought you guys would appreciate having her on as well and being able to ask her some questions, especially since she doesn't really do too much with the podcast. She can't. So I love the feedback that you guys are giving, and I love the questions that you guys are sending in to the panelists, because you guys are throwing even some curveballs I wouldn't have thought of. Like if I were trying to ask the questions myself, I look at some of them and just go, "Holy crap! I never would have thought to ask that." So with that, I do have a couple of updates. So first of all, in case you guys haven't kept track of this is for Geek News fans. If you haven't kept track of the Twitter or the Facebook, I'm just going to go ahead and leave an update here. There is no episode of Geek News tonight. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because we've been talking about this for a while, but we actually have a special project that we're working on that is going to demand a little bit more of our attention this weekend, so that we can get it out to you guys. And frankly, I wanted to be able to give, because all the Geek News crew is basically working on it. So at that point, I wanted to give them the time that they needed to be able to get that done, as well as be able to get some rest and anything that they need. So can I tell you what that project is? Not yet. I have a feeling four fellow YouTubers would instantly kill me. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut for now, but I have a feeling you guys will like what's coming out soon. But that's why there is not a Geek News episode tonight, amongst other things, other projects that me and Alex also need to catch up on. So, yeah, no Geek News tonight. We will be back again next week. And next week is pretty much just going to be a catch-up. So all of the people who have been submitting stories during E3 and after E3, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to everything, but we'll try and get to the most popular stories that people want to know our feedback on. So you guys can look forward to that, because right now I think we're hitting kind of a slow news period. E3 has happened, and most of the summer movies are out. And sure, the most controversial movies are still coming, Independence Day aside, because Independence Day by now has released, but we will be back next week, and we'll try and do as much catch-up as we can while still talking about the most recent week's stories. So, with that, I also have another quick update regarding Gaming with the Geeks. Again, thanks guys so much for your questions and your input and your feedback. We appreciate it. But we had a little bit of a hiccup when we recorded the last episode of Devil May Cry 3. We were already talking about doing the Q&A about 2 weeks after, and Drac got a little busy and wasn't able to put that video up until much later. And by then, Brinton had put out a video asking for you guys' continued questions. And we have still gotten questions, and we're still going to use them. But here's what I'm going to do in the meantime. Now that the videos are released, and now you guys have actually heard us say that 2 weeks hence, I'm actually going to go ahead and say, as of this video, in 2 weeks' time, we will no longer take questions for Brinton, and we will be recording his Q&A. So at that point, if you guys want to leave questions for Brinton or leave feedback for him, whatever you guys want to say, if we can use it, we will. Here are the following ways to be able to do it. First of all, go check out his channel. He does tons of really great Let's Plays. The ones I would recommend personally are Minish Cap, Bayonetta, Yoshi's Woolly World. I'm really liking that one. And also, of course, his most recent venture into the world of Final Fantasy with Final Fantasy VII. Leave your questions there, and either private message Brinton or leave that and basically say, Geek News question, here's what it is, and then he'll get it to me. That's one way to be able to do it. The most direct way to be able to reach me on the matter is you can email us at geekyweek@gmail.com, and that's where we're getting a lot of our questions, so feel free to continue to leave those there. Or you can leave a comment below on any of the... I'm actually going to expand this to the series. Leave a question on any of the Devil May Cry 3 videos, and I will make sure that it gets into the list. Now, I'm going to preface this really quick. If your questions are in any way offensive or not relevant to what we're trying to get. Like, if you're going to ask him, you know, stuff about being gay or whatever, your question is going to get thrown out. So please keep your questions tasteful, and please keep your questions towards the task at hand, talking about his not necessarily talking about his channel or getting to know him as far as Geek is concerned. I've already gotten questions about his politics. That you know, I hate to tell you this, guys. I'm not asking that, and I'm not expecting an answer from him on that, because politics is just not what Geek News does and not what these Let's Plays do. So I'm sorry, but we're not going to talk about stuff like that. So keep your questions at least as close to the subject matter as possible. I mean, we answer, you know, I've already gotten questions of what's your favorite food and stuff like that. We'll probably answer that. But if you go into other stuff that I just don't think is appropriate, your question is not going to get asked. So keep that in mind. Also, let's see, is there any other major updates that I need to give on that one? Yeah, so you have 2 weeks to be able to do this on either the Devil May Cry 3 videos. You can private message Brinton and he'll get back to me, or you can go to geekyweek@gmail.com. 2 weeks later, I'm not accepting any more questions, and the Q&A will just go as planned. And that will be the last episode of the Devil May Cry 3 series. So at that point, we'll have those questions answered, or we'll have those questions asked. And this is the same thing for, I'm going to reiterate this. This is the same thing, not just for Brinton, but also for all of the other panelists on Geek News that are going to be able to do this Gaming with the Geeks with me. And so specifically, Alex is doing that right now with Rise of the Tomb Raider. You can leave your questions via those videos, or you can email me, or email the show at geekyweek@gmail.com. And then we will put those into consideration. And the same is true for, I believe we have one set up for Romney and Aldo. So at that point, if you have questions for them, when those videos go up, so on and so forth. But that's just kind of the quick update for Geek News. It's not happening tonight, and we will be back next week. And then also for the Q&A after 2 weeks, I'm not taking any more questions, and we will be doing the Q&A. So with that said, I hope you guys continue to enjoy all of the content that we have going on. And it's not just with Gaming with the Geeks. Holy crap, all the other content that my channel is providing right now, the reviews, the Drac plays, not necessarily live streams, but streams of games like Stardew Valley. I appreciate all of the feedback and all of the sentiment that you guys send to me. I really do appreciate having kind words being said, as well as constructive feedback. In the meantime, though, I'm Drac, and I've talked your ear on for long enough. Back to editing.